All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a conversation. I'm gonna do the 15 minutes like we've done. Have a conversation. I'm gonna read the bios. And one of the things I wanted to do as far as introducing myself, because I didn't want to go cold turkey. I had the honor of meeting them today and just kind of going around and get to know them. One of the things I asked, and I almost want to kind of just sit down with y'all. One of the things I had asked I asked each of them, this is a captivative audience. I'm blessed to work with young people all over the country, ages 16 to 24. What's one thing that you think we should know? Because there's a level of, respecting our elders and as far as the wisdom, but the young people themselves have lived experience, and even what we went through, there's a level of perseverance that they had during this 2020-21. So I want to make sure I acknowledge that, because that's something my son and my daughter taught me, and I acknowledge that in you all. So thank you for your leadership. So instead of kind of doing the bios, I would love, your name, one thing about yourself, and your favorite color. And then we'll kind of dive into the conversation. Is that cool? Favorite color, let's keep it light. You feel me? All right, thank you.
Okay, am I too close to the mic, or does this work? I don't want to be insanely loud. So I'm Julia. I'm a senior at Keystone Christian Academy, York. It's an awesome school. It deserves a round of applause, honestly. And then you said something about myself, right? I have an obsession with learning other languages, particularly Japanese, but any other type of alphabet language, I just see it and I immediately get obsessed. So that's a random fact about me. And what was the third thing? Oh yeah, my favorite color. I like yellow and turquoise. There is a difference between turquoise and teal, by the way. I'd be happy to argue about it later.
John, am I blocking you?
Hi, my name is Isaiah Morales. I go to Penn State York, which is right down the street from here. Yes, my favorite color is blue, and one thing about me is I like to be able to give back to the community in any way I can. I have been, through a lot, with my medical history and stuff like that. So because of that, I try to give back whenever, there's a blood drive or something in the community that I can give back, I want to do it.
My name is Savontae Copeland. I'm in Central York Middle School, and my favorite color is purple.
So look, keep the mic, because we'll go back. So, parents, can you raise your hand or stand real quick? Parents, oh yes. So with that being said, I kind of tapped into it, and the reason why I said that, there's a level of, acknowledging the parents in a way where, thank you, and even understanding you all not in the future, you all are the now.
Yes.
You all are the now. And just kind of honoring you, young brother Copeland, being 13, in middle school. I'm sure mom is proud. Well, what's one thing you think we should know to kind of be better supportive of young people in middle school? How can we help you?
Well, and something I've realized in my school is a lot of kids aren't really talkative to their parents. They don't help them understand what they're going through.
So how can we be better? How can we be better listeners so you all can share to us?
I suggest that you go to your kids and you talk to them, like, hey, are you okay? Is there anything I can do to help you?
So basically, some words of wisdom of where you are, so you have to stay confident and love your community, understanding of who we are. As far as us being a little older, how can we be more receptive with anything that you think we should know to make sure we're effective in bringing and uplifting our young people?
So I know one of the things that have been talked about a lot is mental health. It's a big thing, especially with kids my age. They've gone through a lot of different mental health issues, especially with COVID and all those, problems that some kids go through. One of the things that I actually talked about in one of my small groups at church was this topic, mental health, and how some kids aren't always as fortunate as some of us in this room. I was fortunate enough to have two parents in my house who were both very supportive. They work hard. They were able to give me a good education, a good foundation, which I'm I take a lot of pride in that. Because some people, they have one mom, they have one dad, and it's hard. But it just really opens my heart to know that some kids my age who didn't have a family like mine are still able to be, successful and achieve their goals and ambitions, just by setting goals for themselves and being able to push through anything that they're going through.
So as far as connecting with kids my age, I'm a senior in high school, but I interact with a lot of middle schoolers and high schoolers on a daily basis. And you often hear the rebellious teenager stereotype, where you tell your kid one thing, they're probably going to believe the exact opposite. And I don't think that everyone has to fall into that stereotype. And I don't think that you should speak it over your kids. One thing that my mom has done really well, she's back there, I'm totally going to call her out on this, but she never bought into the lie that I had to grow up as a certain way. I had to be a stereotypical teenager. She always told me throughout my childhood, you're going to be a great teenager, you're going to do well, you're going to be godly. She spoke that over me as I grew up, and I knew that I didn't have to fall into the same traps that everyone else in my age group has. That's not to say that I don't have some of the natural rebellion, and I've seen it among my peers. I've seen that if you just tell what to believe, we don't naturally like to believe it. So I would say to connect better, I would advise to ask questions, to provide evidence and ask questions that allow teenagers and middle schoolers to figure it out for themselves. Because if you just tell them an answer, chances are they're going to say no, regardless of how rebellious they are, because I know I have, and I haven't been that rebellious. But when my mom asks me questions that get me to think and allow me to come to my own conclusions, then not only am I coming to the right answer, but I've come to it by myself. And I know that I have enough respect for the people that have helped me along the way, because I know that they knew how to get me to that place without just telling me to go there.
Aha! All right, so look, I'm loving it already. Thank you for the jewels, the questions. The critical thinking is real. It is what it is, and even the mental health. Thank you, because that's something that was a stigma for me growing up. And then even the young, as far as just asking questions and just talking to them, just having a conversation. So thank you. So I want to kind of dive into the bio just a little bit, and I'm hearing the feedback, and I'll start with the same order this way. So Julia, one of the things you shared with us as far as writing. You love writing stories. I would love to let us in on, your why of writing, right? What does that do for you? How is that helpful, inspirational, or why? Because you uplifted it here, right? But then Isaiah, you mentioned it and it's here, the community aspect. You love serving the community. What's your why? What makes you want to continue to serve at an early age, though, And then even the young brother Copeland, there's levels of you being young as a leader, and even thinking of the story of David. If you know anything about David, he was young. He was young. So honoring you, how do you continue to be a leader even in middle school? So take a moment to think, and basically just uplifting what you already gave to us, and just sharing us a little insight, if that's cool. Anybody want to go first?
So one of the reasons that I give back to the community, and particularly with blood drives, we have a couple of blood drives a year at Penn State and also at my former high school as well. And this was something that my parents had told me that I never knew about. But as a young kid, I was experiencing kidney failure. So I was losing a lot of blood. And I just really couldn't understand why, but it was at a young age. But I remember that there wasn't a lot of blood available to give me because I have a special kind of blood, I guess. And so my mom had told me that my grandparents, they were raised up as Jehovah's Witness. And so in one of their beliefs, you can't give blood to whomever. But she had told me that I was in such a bad state that my grandfather, who was a Jehovah's Witness believer, he said, well, I'm not going to sit here and just watch my grandson die. Take my blood. And I never knew that, and he never told me that, but I was like, wow, really? That means a lot to me now, because now I understand more. But I was like, wow, I just couldn't believe it when she told me that. So that's one of the reasons why I like to give back. And we had a conversation before as well, and I was like, well, I can't do this on Thursday because I have a blood drive. And they had asked me, why do you do that? I said, well, the reason I'm here is because someone had given me blood. So I want to make sure that they are also healthy and well, and that they can stay here, because I don't know all the situations that people are going through. But if I can help out and save 3 lives with 1 pint of blood, I'm going to do it.
So how can I be a leader? I think I could be a leader by showing someone or anyone how to take something away from someone, not like take information away, and how they could learn from anybody.
Wow.
So, you asked about my writing, right? Yes. So writing for me, it's always come naturally. Creative writing, I can do research writing too, but creative writing is my favorite. And I think it's just a unique way of connecting with God. I mean, you look at C.S. Lewis and Tolkien, like they had these worlds that they created out of their imagination, and yet it wasn't really their imagination. It was God revealing himself to them in unique ways. And I feel like that's what I like to do when I write. It's a very unique way of putting myself into these characters that I create and dealing with different aspects of my own humanity through these characters as I learn to encounter God through words that come out of me. Like, it's really neat to write a character that I base off of God and to see what God puts into my mind to have that character say, and how I get to know God better through something that's coming through me. Like, I don't think that the ideas necessarily come from my own head all the time. Sometimes I sit down and I ask God, like, let's write together. What do you want me to do? And I just let it flow, and I wind up discovering deep truths that I couldn't have read in any sort of self-help book or anything.
Can you just nudge your neighbor and say, it's the God in me. It's the God in me. It's the God in me. All right, so look, it's the God in me. I saw you. I love y'all. So look, we wrap this thing up, but I literally wanted to kind of, these last 3 to 2 minutes, whether it be mom, grand, auntie, or even mom, whether it be a question, or would you like to share something with your child? Because I believe in the intergenerational, and I respect the fact that I may not have my parents with me here physically, but there's lessons learned that we get from our parents so we can be better and greater than them. And the same thing for my children. They're supposed to be greater than the legacies that come behind us are supposed to be greater. So me acknowledging that in you all, and acknowledging to the mom, if you like, mom, auntie, grand, if you would like to share, and we're going to wrap this thing up. And I know it's kind of catching y'all off guard, but I literally believe it, because there's a level of his family, until I realize and I talk to him, like my wife knows the family. So to see you, young king, is love. And then you are Morales, so hey, what's going on, Kaji? And then a creative writer, I can't make this up. 2020 was so hard for me. 2020 was so hard for us. As much as we were forced in isolation, there was a level of solitude that I found in the power of the pen. Because that's why I said I was feeling that. So If you don't want to, we can wrap it up, and we can just, one last thought that you want to share, and we can keep it moving. All right? Because I'm kind of putting them on the side. Oh, okay. Thank you, Sister Juanita. She want to encourage us.
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to say how impressed and encouraged I am by our young people up here on the stage. I know it's hard to get up in front of people and speak. I get nervous. We all get nervous, so thank you. This is my nephew here, Savontae. I want to give him a special shout out to him. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of your parents. I remember when Cindy was pregnant with you, and to see you as a special surprise and as a guest here today. I'm just so proud. Thank you all.
All right, we're going to close it out. Y'all want to give one last little thought, or we can wrap up? Anybody want to go first? All right.
To wrap it up, I suggest no matter how old you are, you can always learn from somebody.
I just want to say, I've been coming to these conferences for a couple of years now, and over the years they've always been impactful, but this one in particularly has really moved me, because now as I'm getting older, I'm starting to understand more about, the things that people can possibly go through, and more about God and my faith. So some of these testimonies and from the stories that these speakers are sharing are just really moving me and overwhelming me with emotion. I never thought, possible. But hearing some of the speakers from before really hit home and really opened my heart. So I just thank you for your stories and for where you come from. And I'm glad that you all are here.
I wanted to go back to Sade's theme of boxes, because I thought that was really, really powerful. And just, yeah. So, I don't know, my final thought would be like, whether you're raising kids, whether you already have, whether you are a kid like me, like, don't speak boxes over anyone around you. Don't speak boxes over the kids you're raising, or over the kids you have raised, or over the people you interact with every day. Like, leave God room to work. You speak truth over them, and you let Him do the work.